Before we continue on with the following review, I'm going to put this forward warning here. In this review, I will use some pretty foul language, due to the fact that these molds I'm about to review fucking suck. Welcome, my students and scientists. Today, we are reviewing Studio Series World War II Bumblebee and Hot Rod. And we're going to start out with their vehicle modes, as they are the least offensive of them, for the most part. You pause it. Shut that.
And play.
So these two molds are based upon a non-existent World War II armoured car. I do believe in the actual film, Bumblebee was a 1942 Mercedes-Benz staff car used by the German officials for getting to Star Place, and Hot Rod was a 1942 SDKFZ armoured 238 armoured car. They are not that here. In fact, they are half SDKFZ armoured car 2 and half M3 half track up the front. And I hate this car mode to bits because, for one thing, Bumblebee here does not sit flush. In fact, none of these two stay tabbed. These two molds are just appalling. Because if you push this back, you pop the roof up. And here on Hot Rod, yeah, you've got the whole mold for sitting back, because Hot Rod is a slight remold and slight recolor of Bumblebee. But weapon-wise, here on Hot Rod, we've got a very nice cannon. And here on Bumblebee, we have a gun that turns into a hammer. They roll alright, but I'm going to be transforming both of them, because that's what I'm going to torture myself to. First of all, you want to pop this up and rotate it around. Rotate it down and fold this up. You want to come to the sides and push the entire back, what becomes the back and front half, and fold these two tabs in. Come to the arms and fold them out, whilst folding up the wheels and rotating the arms up. Grabbing what will become his chest, pushing up on a elevator joint and rotating the head around. Folding the arms down, and this tab will tab into a slot on the chest here. Badly fold out his hands and rotate his arms 90 degrees. And with his wheels, just leave them hanging off the back there, because that's all they do. Tab, fold, rotate, and rotate. When it comes to the legs, bring back the back, fold out the arms, just so you have a bit of clearance. Fold up what becomes the front of the car, fold out the foot, fold in the wheel, rotate this will slide it on a rotate, and then slide it into there. And that will form a leg. Second verse is much like the first, and here we have Bumblebee in his robot mode. I want to transform Hot Rod before we continue on with this review. It is very much the same offense. Holy jumbolly. Untab, pull up, fold in, fold out arms, rotate around. Again, I want to say a huge thank you to Blazehorn Gaming and Pretty Slick Parts and Services for lending me these figures for this review. Pretty Slick Parts owns Hot Rod, and he and I both agreed this was abysmally bad. Rotate the head around. And it's an offense. I've got to say, if you want to buy World War II Transformers, buy the third-party stuff, because it's actually a lot better than this crap. Holy shit, where do I even... And here we are. Here is Hot Rod and Bumblebee in their abysmally bad World War II robot modes. And for fuck's sake, I have never seen two awkward-looking Transformers standing there out of fucking character. Here's Hot Rod. As you can see, he's German grey with a little bit of silver and French orange. Articulation-wise on Hot Rod, his head is on a ball track, so he can do a full 360. He can look up, he can look down. His arms love to untab. His arms can do a sort of full 360 if they don't untab and force you to nearly rotate the damn assembly that those arms are on. Bend at the elbow, rotation at the elbow, and slight bend at the wrist due to transformation. You get waist articulation, but it don't fucking matter because you got a backpack the size of fucking Gibraltar that gets in the fucking way. Just let's go forward that far. We can go back. If you move the Gibraltar-sized backpack back and untab the fucking wheel. I do apologize, by the way, for the language, but holy crap, Hasbro, you and I need to have a talk in a moment. But that untabs, that in fact, on both figures, these parts love to untab. But at least go back that far once you move the backpack out of the way. Perform a pretty much decent split. A bend at the knee, and then nothing. Just nothing. No ankle bendage, no ankle tiltage, and Bumblebee doesn't get out of this scot-free. So let's get to his accessories. Hot Rod gets his time-stopping gun, which you can hold in any hand, and that's it. That's literally it. And Bumblebee gets a hammer. I am disappointed in these figures because, again, you need to understand one thing. These figures are not cheap here in New Zealand. They are $30. $32 now. For a deluxe. Not $20 like it is in the States and other places in Europe. It's $30. And that price seems to be hiking up. I've seen some deluxes go for $42. And when you're paying $32 for a toy that is abysmally bad, that looks like it's been half-assed, and the fact that these molds, I love the molds. I think they're fantastic molds. But who the fuck designed the vehicle modes? Who the fuck designed these figures with those god-awful vehicle modes? The transformation is utter shit, and the figure barely stays tabbed in both the robot mode and the vehicle mode. Not only that, but you have a backpack that takes up half the fucking body. I'm not even joking. Here's the body. The backpack comes down to his knees. You get fuck all posability out of these figures. They stand here like this. They will stand there like this on your shelf. And coming to the fact that these are meant to be accurate to what you see in the fucking film, Bumblebee is a staff car, a Mercedes-Benz staff car, or a Daimler-Benz, or an Opel, or whatever. Not once in the film, especially in the World War II scene, did he turn into a fucking American armoured car. Especially one that has got the rear end of a Japanese, now that I think about it, a Japanese Type 94 armoured car, and the front half of an M3 half-track. Hot Rod is abysmally bad because in the film he turns into an SDF KZ 238 armoured car, which has a 20mm autocannon turret on the roof. But again, he looks like he's the ancestral breeding of an M3 and an M and a Type 94, mixed with a little bit of this German armoured car. I had to point out one thing: Bumblebee is baby puke green, and Ironhide is depressed grey. And I called him Ironhide when his Hot Rod is depressed grey. I want to know who the hell in Hasbro let these toys go out into the market. Because they need to be slapped upside the head because they're an offence to anything that came from the Second World War. They're an offence to anything that is a toy. And they give both of these figures, who have arguably had some pretty good and pretty bad toy releases, a fucking cry. In fact, I wouldn't recommend picking up these figures at all. Ever. You see them in the store, avoid them. I want to love these figures. I love World War II. But I can't recommend these. Hot Rod's just a slight remold of garbage. And there's not much fixing of the garbage. Like, he fits a little bit better, but he still untabs up the front. So that has come to the end of the abysmally bad World War II Transformer figures. I do hope you all have a Merry Christmas and a Happy Holidays. This is Duncan of His Inhuman Superior, and